1 0, and then just jump over between the different platforms and make sure that everything looks good.
Hi, good morning.
I'm going to make sure this is muted. Oh, well, that one's muted. That should be muted. All right, that's where I was hearing the sound, I guess. All right, well, I guess it's muted. All right. Hello and welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by very special guest, SK.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So, let's see here. Rotten Lori, welcome.
Hey, good morning.
SK rocks. Transhuman looks like another great project back in the day. Nice.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So last time we met, if I recall, you were you had your early sign up set up.
Yeah, I did.
How did it go overall in terms of, the interest in the sign up?
We got to 100 signups, which was the number I wanted. I think it finished up at about 102, 103. So we got the 100 signups, which it's fine. I was really happy with that. So
fantastic.
So once it reached that point, I was, thank you everybody who signed up. Really appreciate it. You've seen the video, I know, but I made the video myself, so I'm really, really happy with the video.
Yeah, we're definitely going to play that. Go ahead.
No. Once the video is over, we should go to I'll show you the person who I used for the video. She actually has I think I've sent you the link. We talked previously. She has a really, really good range. It's just in this one particular video, she's very monotone. So I just want people to know when they actually listen to her, she has a fantastic range. She goes and yep.
Looks like it's buffering for me.
My name is Rivka. This is my story. I was a soldier, but was injured on duty. I was augmented in a transhumanism project. Transhumanism is the next step in human evolution, or an affront to God, depending on who you believe. My cybernetics allow me to do more than I could ever imagine. Faster, stronger. My life is still a mess, though. It's not something that can be fixed with a cybernetic. When the body can be replaced, what does it mean to be human?
Oh, thank you. So look, I'll cover 2 points, and I always love this. It's two cyberpunk terms, and some people are familiar with it, and some people aren't. The first term is transhuman, and the next term is posthuman. So transhumanism is really what they consider the bridge between humanity and posthumanism. Posthumanism is stuff where you don't recognize anything anymore. So you're talking the man in the machine. So your consciousness has been uploaded into the internet, for example. There's no human body. It is your post-human. Or you've seen where you become like those little green men. Your body has evolved, so your head's really big, and you don't need arms and legs anymore because you've got psychic powers and stuff like that. That's like the post-humanism idea, where you've gone way beyond anything that you could ever, humanity doesn't look like humanity anymore. That's like the post-humanism idea. Transhumanism is the gateway into that, which is basically cyborgs, augmented. If you look at Elon Musk, the chip in the head, the neural chips in the heads, stuff like that, that's very much all very transhumanism. And I always love those concepts. One of the reasons I got to this story was I did some work for a hearing aid company.
Mm.
And one of the things that happens is over time, your hearing degrades. So what happens is, after like a decade or so, you forget certain sounds because you just stop hearing certain sounds anymore. And so when they put in this hearing aid to some of the patients, you just imagine if I put a brand new hearing aid onto you, and you can start, when you listen to a song, you start going, oh my God, there's different beats, there's different bits, I've never heard that before. And then it opens up that thing, my concept about what if we extended that concept to say, not just bringing people back to the way they used to be, what if you allowed them to see into ultraviolet light, listen to infrared, or extend the hearing range so you can hear the ultrasonics? How would humanity perceive that? You know what I mean? So, and I love that whole concept about, guess what? The human brain is only kind of limited by its senses. It's a perception thing. Now, if you remove all those perceptions, what else does the world hold? One of the really, like, for example, they were saying the color cyan
Okay.
does not exist. In your eye, you have 3 receptors. It cannot process cyan. Cyan does not exist. Your brain, your eyes cannot process it. So what happens with your brain is when they see the color cyan, it makes it up. It just goes, oh crap, I don't know what this color looks like. I have no idea. I'm just going to make it up. So if we could swap brains for split, the processing part of the brain from the optic nerve, your cyan would be totally different to my cyan, because your brain would have thrown something in, my brain would have thrown something in, and you know what? That's what cyan is. It's the same with blind spots. You actually have a blind spot in your eye, but what happens with your brain is your brain goes, you know what? It would be really silly to have a big black hole with how you perceive it. I'm going to make it up with data from both sides and kind of just cover up the blind spot. So every time you look, you actually have a hole in your vision, but what your brain does is it just goes, I'll just fill in that hole to the best of my ability. So you don't perceive it. It kind of meshes stuff together. It's really fascinating. Now, the whole concept about then transhumanism is, what if we could work around all these limitations and go, you know what? You're not limited to that. So yeah, so that's the whole base concept behind it. Oh, if you want to scroll down, I'll show you some other bit. But one of the big conflicts then I try to introduce into the story. Wait, there's 2 covers to choose from. So there's the main cover, if you scroll down a bit more. This is the main cover, and if you scroll down a little bit more, there's the variant cover.
Yes.
I love the variant cover.
Oh yeah, this is nice.
The gun is a real gun. It's a Table T21. I loved it. I saw the design for it. I was going, man, it's a really, really good design.
Oh, sweet.
So, as you know, I love my ground, and you probably can hear from the way I talk, I love my grounded sci-fi. As much as I can, I try to make bring a lot of real world elements into it. Even Terra Olympus, the space thing, has a lot of real world elements into it.
Oh man, yeah, this is a nice one. Nice one.
Yeah. So if we scroll down a bit more, I'll run through the central conflict of the story, so you can kind of see the professor. He's saying, imagine a year that can do this. But what I always think is, then there's the ethical debate in a lot of these things, and it's the concept of, just because you can, does it mean you should?
Exactly.
And the whole point will be, and I just want to make it very clear, this story has lots of action, there's lots of character development and all the rest of it, but there are themes, and I'll make it a point, I actually don't say what's right or wrong. I just put forward the different themes, and it's just for basically the reader to kind of dive into it. And like folks, one of the examples could be is they've cloning is possible. We have the tech to do cloning. Why haven't we seen human clones yet? Because we have deemed it unethical and it's illegal. You get prosecuted, you get shut down, all the rest of it. But we have the technology to make clones of ourselves. It's just the reason of should we do it? And the answer right now is no. Will that change? Because with technology and linking technology up to ethics, I think it's a really interesting discussion. It's all, like this is the thing would be, like I said before, that whole theme about you can, but should you?
Right.
And so there's all these discussions around it. And the whole point is, look, I make it I try to make sure that both sides get this really nice thing. But the other thing that's really interesting is, which I like, is that although both sides argue about it, you have the lead character, Rivka. She's the soldier who's been augmented. She's a transhuman, so she's half cyborg. But just because she is what she is, doesn't mean she escapes all her day-to-day troubles. She still has problems with her day-to-day. She still goes home every night to a glass of red wine because she can't cope with the day. It's still not just because you're on the way to becoming this post-human, past from a cyborg up. It doesn't mean your life gets any easier. And I would probably say, if you do read the story, out of all the characters, she's probably the most human of all of them, because the other two have this different views, but she's the one who just goes, you know what? I hope people relate to her in particular. So if we scroll down then just a bit more, you can see him talking about blind spots and all the rest of it. And then you can see and the thing is, if you notice as well, there's a lot of color shifts. And because with Terra Olympus was black and white, I couldn't play with color and I missed it. But you can kind of see the ethical debates are very much in that brownish hue. The scientific debates are very much in that clinical blue. And so there is actually a really interesting color palette that gets put in, so that the reader gets that feel of, one's ethical, one's scientific, what's I can see. Hopefully they'll see both sides. That's what I really want to do. It's because look, I'll be frank. I'm an absolute science buff, and I always love to add. I've subscribed to 100 different science feeds, see all the new stuff that's coming out. Elon Musk is wacky, but man, he has the money to make some of his ideas come true, and I love it. I absolutely, I would love to be Elon Musk in terms of I have the money to do whatever crazy idea I want. I want to put a chip in someone's brain. Yeah, you research team, figure it out for me. I would love to be able to do that, but it's being able to at least come back to the color idea, to play with the two colors, I thought was very, very interesting. Now, if we scroll down a bit more, you'll see Rivka, who's the main character.
Yeah.
And she's augmented, so she stops an assassination attempt. But then, if you scroll down a bit more, you can find that. So she comes home for the day in the next scene. You scroll down a bit more, and then she puts herself into sleep mode. So she shuts herself down. But even when she's shut down, she still has nightmares and she still has memories. She still has her life hasn't stopped, and you get to that whole dig down into how she got her life this way. You probably one of the big inspirations for this was RoboCop. That's one of my absolute favorite movies.
Oh, I love RoboCop.
Yeah, and it's not as bad as Murphy. The RoboCop Murphy has his memory wiped altogether. Rivka still has access to all her memories and all the rest of it. She's not like RoboCop. She still has a personality, but you find that a lot of it has some of her emotions have been muted. And it takes a while before she actually finally goes, I want to feel a little bit more human again. So there's a little bit of that RoboCop in it. That's why the absolute last scene of RoboCop, where the OCP president goes, "Nice shooting, son. What's your name?" and it cuts on Murphy. It just shows and he smiles. That last scene is that iconic scene where he goes, "I'm back," and I love it.
Yeah.
That's why I think RoboCop by itself is one of the most perfect movies. 2 and 3 are fun, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy the ride. And 4, let's not talk about that. But let's not talk about that. But the jetpack and but the first whole movie, when you see that arc, where he goes and that last scene when he flips that gun and Murphy, oh man, still shivers. I really hope that when you do read it, that last page, you get that little bit of that final. That Murphy call. And I don't want to spoil the story, but I hope that you feel that. So you scroll down a bit more. You can see the artwork. The artwork is done by a guy called Alan Sands. This is, there's a flashback sequence. And again, color plays along to this. Like you can kind of tell this is like more a flashback sequence, dream sequence, just because of the muted colors, that white against that light brown, which is very different to the ethical debates, which are the dark browns, the earth browns.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the colors are very different. So you can see, basically, she used to work in the army. She's trying to defuse a bomb. She doesn't defuse it in time, and she gets caught up in the blast. So if we scroll down a bit more,
oh right, yeah,
that's how the story goes, and a lot of it is by. And then she gets caught up in the blast, and that's where she hurts herself, and she gets augmented after that incident. But that's actually not the reason why she left the army. And you find that the story does explore a lot of what happens, and then she wakes up from it. There's more artwork. You can see that the tagline. I definitely have more artwork here. So you can kind of see here. She's been hired as a bodyguard now to protect the professor, and this is just one of the scenes where she gets stopped. And if you scroll down a bit more, a bit more excitement. She crashes through a window.
I like the lettering here, and this image is really nice.
Oh, thank you. So you scroll down a bit more. Again, like I said, although like everything I do, I like to introduce a lot of same with Charlie. I like to introduce a lot of science elements and all the rest of it. It's still an action book, and the one thing I do love with my action is, as I mentioned to you guys probably a million times, I love my MMA. So that's a single on the right. That's a single leg takedown, moving straight into an armbar. So, and like I said, MMA in terms of if you were if you were a trained professional, and absolute trained professional, and you wanted to take somebody down, you wanted to just take him out. It's always a takedown. You take them down. If you get them on the ground, you've got a huge advantage. And very few real fights. I mean, you can see like I think somebody recommended a whole bunch of YouTube videos for me to watch, like silly fights. But if it's a real fight and somebody really knows what they're doing, you're on the ground within half a second, and they'll be basically pummeling you on the ground. That's a real, if they know what they're doing. So a lot of these scenes, and I love it. And just a fun fact, Ronda Rousey, I think, won her first 7 fights by armbar. So Ronda Rousey is the best. So armbar is like my signature go-to fight move. Because Ronda Rousey does it, and it's good enough for Ronda Rousey, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool watching MMA.
Oh, I miss her. I really do. And so I don't know if you know it, but there's a book called Grom, A Galactic Rodents of Mayhem.
Oh, I heard about that.
So I love the artwork so much, and this is a guy called Sebastian Navas. So I got him to draw a couple of pages for me as well, and it's finished now. And I should update the Indiegogo a little bit. It's finished now, but at this point, you can see. And I stole this from RoboCop. So you have this guy hiding behind a wall. So Rivka, rather than going around the wall, she punches through the wall. So if you remember RoboCop, there's one iconic scene where um, you see the guy going, "I want a chopper, I want this," and he's screaming his orders, and then RoboCop just walks behind him the wall, reaches through the wall, and pulls him through.
Yeah.
So, so that's one to say. And so, like I said before, I want to show you as well. Although there is some thematic discussions, it's still very, very much I hope people can still enjoy it for the action sequences, and as well as if you read a lot of what happens in the book, a lot of the stuff I do state there is real world science. So it's not something that's happening, may not happen right now, but man, within the next 10 years, I think it'll be awesome.
Well, I mean, like when you're talking about cloning, I mean, aren't they already applying that knowledge where they're trying to clone pieces of body parts and use those for transplants?
They already have. So,
Yeah.
but the only point about that is it runs through, so they can cultivate your skin, for skin grafts and stuff like that. It's just that it's like everything else because it's not being done on such a mass level. It's not viable right now.
Well, all right.
It's like if I ask you to make me one car, it'll cost you an absolute fortune. Now, if I ask you to make me 1,000 cars, you'll do it much more efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same concept, and the whole point is it also a lot of places it's still banned, mainly because they don't want the slippery slope, and I do understand it. That's the whole concept of the slippery slope. Okay, we allow you to clone skin. What's stopping you from taking the next step and cloning muscle? Now, if I can clone skin and muscle, why can't you clone me an arm? Now, if you can clone this and this and this, why can't I just do the whole body and harvest it for parts? You know what I mean? They put the brakes on very, very early because they don't want that slippery slope of, okay, you allow this, you allow this, you allow this, and then eventually you reach the point where you go, you know what? Do whatever you like. And to be really fair, ethics change over time. People's perceptions change. So it'll be really interesting to see how everything washes itself out over time. But don't worry, it's still a fun story. This is just me and loving science more than anything else.
You're a science nerd.
I am. So the main thing would be, we're up to the reward now. I make it as well that I have a PDF tier, and I want to make sure that when you get the PDF tier, hey Marta, that you get a lot of reading. So, and it's not just from my stuff; it's other creators that also have donated some other PDFs as well. So there's Killaroo, Belial, So basically, what I'm saying is, if you get the PDF tier, you get more than I think. More than 200-300 pages of reading of digital stuff to read. So you get a lot of reading. Other stuff that's available if you're interested is if you like to go past digital, there's printed copies and there's 2 different covers.
Yeah, they both look good, but I do prefer the second one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good pose.
Yeah. And if you scroll down a bit more, I got an Italian artist to do this really cool grayscale. It's a bit of fun. Need a hand, because she's missing a hand.
Right.
A bit silly. But there's a small trading card of that size that gets included. If you went for the sign up for, if you signed up, and I'm gonna match your emails versus the sign up, and if you back the sign up, there's actually another special trading card that you get for people who have signed up. And the people who have signed up have got an email with how that trading. It's basically a virgin cover of the variant. So it's the variant cover as a trading card, but without any of the no words on it.
Yeah, okay.
So if you did sign up, you would have got that one.
Yeah.
If you scroll down a bit more, there's a couple of prints that's available. These are postcard size, A5. And for people in America, I think it's 8 by 3 by about 6 inches. So it's about the size of a postcard. and
Oh,
these are printed on 250 GSM cardstock, so they're really nice. And the last thing is,
before you go into the last thing, this circuit board design in the background, is that a legit circuit board? Is it?
oh no, it's just a design.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's an aesthetic.
All right. All right.
Okay, so the last thing is if you want any original artwork, so basically you get you get both featured, you get both covers, you get everything. But as one of the perks, you can also buy the original artbooks by one of the artists who Sebastian Navas, who actually contributed to the work. So you get this. It's done in watercolor and inked of some iconic characters. So you will actually get an A4 size, which is a slightly bigger than letter, of this artwork.
And these are prints.
Not prints. You get this will never move into prints. You will get the physical artwork, the
Oh.
actual inked and watercolored artwork.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
So you get and so one point I have to make though is that because it's original artwork and it is watercolor and all the rest of it, it's not in perfect condition. It can't be, if you know what I mean. The paper is going to be a little bit crinkly. There might be creases and stuff like that. That's how original artwork is. So I just want to make it very clear to anybody who does get it. If you frame it, it's going to look spectacular. But if you ever bought original artwork, you're taking paintings, everything, it's not perfect. It's not a print. So don't expect, you can't imagine. As soon as someone puts water on paper, the paper will crinkle up a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So I just want to make it clear that if you've never bought original artwork before, it's absolutely spectacular, absolutely. But if you send it in for grading, you won't get a 9.6 or it's not for grading. It's for you to frame it and look at it in perpetually. But it's not something that can be graded. You won't get a perfect grade out of it. But that's original artwork for you. But it is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Sorry, I have to make that point of original artwork because I remember once somebody came back to me and went, "Oh, look, it's a bit crinkly, a bit wrinkled." I'm going, "Well, if you put watercolor on the paper, it's as soon as you put paint on the paper, it's gonna not be perfect." Anyway, look, I sorted it out with them, but I just want to make sure that people understand original artwork is not perfect. The paper will be creased and a bit crinkly, but again, when you frame it, it's gonna look spectacular. So you have Batgirl, and if you scroll down,
I mean, I was really digging the art, but I can't make up my mind which one to get.
oh, there's more. There's Elektra.
I know, yeah.
My favorite is Elektra, by the way. Just
Oh yeah.
Psylocke, and look, I think he had if you grew up with Psylocke, he definitely had a bit of fun. So when Psylocke has a psychic blade, he put the reflection across her chest. So I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really cool.
Oh.
So the reflection of the side blade is on her chest. It's little details like that. And then you got Power Gold as well, and Super Gold at the end.
Yeah.
There was the original artwork, which was done in ink and grayscale for Rivka. So if you scroll down, so the little right at the bottom, the little card I did, that's been picked up already. So
yeah,
all the other DC characters still available, but the original artwork that was used by Elaine for the card, it's been sold already. So the rest is still available, but just that one's not there.
Cool. Let's check this out. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But look, the main thing would be is if you like grounded science fiction, and it is a character-driven story a little bit. That's why it's called Rivka story. It's still got action. Look, I'm a bit biased because I wrote it. I think it's a nice story. I think it's a really good story. and fundamentally behind it is I hope it gets people thinking about that whole science ethics debate, which I always find fascinating. It's one of the most fascinating things, So I really hope that anybody listening will check it out.
Yeah, most definitely. It's really cool looking, and you put a lot of thought into it. Can you refresh my memory on Transhuman? Are you looking to make this an ongoing series?
I am. Volume 2 is already in the works. So Volume 1 is very much still an introduction. With Volume 2, we discuss a lot more about neural chips. So about, uh, I love the concept about, uh, I don't know if you've heard about your reflex. So like if you touch something hot, and again, this is my sciencey bit. If you touch something hot,
Yeah.
your body automatically retracts. Your hand automatically retracts.
Right.
The reason it does that is it doesn't actually send the signal to the brain. It sends the signal into the spinal cord. Your spinal cord processes this as oh my God, this is potentially can hurt your body, and so it sends a signal straight back to the arm to retract. That signal doesn't go to the brain straight away. It actually kind of loops in the spinal cord, and it's what they call the reflex loop.
Reflex loop.
So if you ever get bored, let me just get the right name for you. Reflex action spine. Spine reflex.
Okay.
So if you Google reflex action spine, you'll see what I mean. So your body, because for the signal to go to your brain to process it and send the signal back down, it means your hand, if you're touching something hot, will potentially get burnt, take more damage, and get burnt worse than if it just went to the spine and went back. It's just a lot faster because signals travel by electrical impulse.
Yep.
So now with my neural chip, I shove a chip at the back of someone's spine to kind of half process a lot of stuff. So the chip at the back is what controls all the cybernetics, so that it does a lot of the processing that the brain doesn't have to process. So that's Volume 2. So help me make Volume 1, because Volume 2 is going to be even more interesting. Because Volume 1 is like most issue 1s and all the rest of it. I do spend a lot of time, like same with Terra Olympus Volume 1. I spend a lot of time with the setup, with introducing the characters and all the rest of it. I only seem to have fun with the writing, like Volume 2 and Volume 3. That's where the fun really starts, because at that point, you can start deep diving into different sections because the setup's already been done. You know the character.
Yeah, you've already laid some groundwork.
Correct. So Volume 2, I'm really excited about. So I'm really looking forward. The script's been done. It's just production has just started on it.
Okay. So you basically complete the entire script for the whole book, the whole volume, and then you present that to the artist, and then they get working on that side of it.
That's correct.
Cool. So the your 697 fixed goal, how did you come up with that particular number?
Oh, look. So
wait, that's converted. That's USD converted.
That's USD. So it was 980, which was the number I got from the first Terra Olympus, the amount I raised for the first Terra Olympus. So my main thing would be I wanted it to do better than the first Terra Olympus.
Oh, okay.
So in most cases in here, I'm using this so it does better than my previous Terra Olympus, the first Terra Olympus campaign I ever did. I just want to do better than that. In terms of deciding the goal, like in most cases, I'm going to do this. I'm going to self-fund to make this happen anyway. I'm just hoping people come along for the ride, because I'm going to make the story. I'm just hoping people just are interested enough to pick it up, and I don't want the goal to be a deterrent to people to go, oh man, he's $10,000 off. It's never going to hit the target. I'm never going to get my copy. I don't want that to be the case. I want people to kind of jump into it to go, knowing they will get a copy of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a wise idea. At the same time, you want to make sure that you've got the funds to be able to fulfill the project. And so you've already got for example, you've already got the artist paid and everything to get started.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just letting people know for Transhuman, it's 99% done already. You can see all the stuff is done. The pages which weren't colored there's some pages with one colored and one inked. That's all been done now. Because at the time when this was set up, it wasn't in place. Everything is in place now. So don't worry if you back this campaign, you will get a copy of it. And I've done 4 Indiegogos now. All of them have been fulfilled. Every single one of them have been fulfilled. You can check the comments. You can check whatever. You can ask. If you ever get, you can see the like people have posted. I think you've seen some of it. People have posted receiving copies of my stuff. So I think like for example, Red Valkyrie backed my last campaign, and she's holding a copy of both books. So copies, all like I have fulfilled every single copy going out. And I always say this: look, if something happens that is you're not happy with, let's say a book gets, and as much as I pack it as well as I can, the postal service, I can't control that. If they jump on it, step on it, decide to cut the book in half, just let me know, because as soon as that happens,
Yep.
I will place it. I'm not. If you want, yell at me, and I'm happy to take. I'll happy to apologize for. But if anything happens where you're not happy with the book you receive, let me know, and I'll replace it. It's done. You just tell me my dog ate my book. Right? I'm serious. If it's, or the postman decided to rip it to half, whatever. I want to make sure you get a copy that you're happy with, and so that's where I'm. I have sent out additional copies before because I want to make sure people are happy with it, and that's important to me. Like I remember once, and I packed it really well, but they showed me like almost like a tire tread across the packaging. And I'm going, and he was saying, "Look, I know it's not you, but here's how I received the package." And I want this copy because the copy was meant to be like a present or something. I can't remember what it was.
Oh man!
And then she said, "Can I? I want to buy another copy from you." And I said, "Look, no. I'm sending you one. I've got your address. I don't need any more. I'm not out to gouge you for more money. I'm just sending it." They had a freaking tire tread across the package, and you're going, "How the hell did that happen?"
Yeah.
And of course, when you open the book up, it was all dented, and it was mangled in there. It was like,
oh man. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you figure the the delivery person like hauled out a bunch of boxes or something, and that particular package fell on the ground.
oh yeah, and he just reversed,
Yeah.
put the sound, go, oh my god, reverse forward, picked it back up, goes, yeah, they'll never notice. I chucked it.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh look,
but
thank you so much for your time. As I mentioned before, I do have to run, but look, I really appreciate you bringing me on, and I appreciate you coming on this little transhuman journey with me.
yeah, definitely. We'll have to have you on again.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll pick a side topic, but I like quokkas as well. I think we discussed quokkas as well, so I like cute stuff too.
you want to take a moment real quick and just share how you can be found on social media?
Oh look, yeah. So if you go for this particular campaign, look for Sigmate Studio on Twitter. But the main thing would be if you go into I think WyzGyz has been really nice to put all the links through to the side. If you just look for the word transhuman, one word, you should be able to find it on Indiegogo. And look, thank you so much. I do have to run, so but I appreciate you having me on. Like I
Absolutely.
always.
Absolutely. Anytime. Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook and YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment. You can find me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets. If by chance you're no longer following me, please follow me again, because Twitter's kind of half shadow banning me. so my posts are barely even being seen by anyone. You can find me on Twitch on WyzGyz Twitches and Parlay under WyzGyz Parlays. Thank you to everyone in the chat for being here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications. Drop a comment in the comment section and let us know what part of Transhuman really excites you. Is it the science aspect? Is it the ethics behind it, behind whether you should go and move forward with that technology or not? And thank you to everyone who will watch this on replay. And we are going to end the broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.